Have you ever felt like someone around you is draining all your energy, leaving nothing in return? What if I told you there's a way to stop this without losing a single ounce of strength? Secrets will be revealed that will help you stay calm and confident, even when the world around you is falling apart. Well then, let's begin. Toxic people don't come with a flashing neon sign. There's no obvious label to warn you about them. At first glance, they might seem like just another person in the crowd. But under the surface, they're often just a mirror reflecting their own unresolved pain, their deep-rooted fears, and the dissatisfaction that shapes their every word and action. Before you rush to judge, before you fall into the trap of seeing them as the enemy, remember this: behind every toxic behavior lies an internal struggle that is not about you, but about them. The path to wisdom is not paved by confrontation, but by understanding. The moment you react to their negativity with your own, you are no different from them, a mirror image in reverse. To rise above this, you must first recognize that their actions are driven not by malice, but by their inability to find peace within themselves. Their toxicity is a product of inner turmoil, and often a defense mechanism to shield their fragile self-esteem from the realities they cannot accept. If you are to navigate this world, you must first learn to see the invisible battles that people fight every day. Mark this: the world is not as it appears, but as we are able to perceive it. Understand their pain, their fears, and their deep-seated frustrations, and in that understanding, you will find not just wisdom, but power. The power to not be dragged into the chaos they bring. You are not a passive player in their game. You are the one who holds the key to whether you enter the arena or remain untouched by their storm. So, take a step back. Observe. Reflect. Don't be so quick to react to the surface-level aggression or manipulative words. Let your response be shaped by your understanding of their deeper suffering. Because in the end, only those who have faced their own shadows and found peace within themselves can truly rise above the noise of toxic people. And that, my friend, is the path to personal freedom. Boundaries are not walls. Walls are built to isolate, to shut out the world and its storms. Boundaries, on the other hand, are the delicate yet firm lines that you draw in the sand, where you say, I am open to connection here, but I will not allow harm to enter. They are your personal framework for living freely without becoming a prisoner of external forces. Many people believe boundaries are about shutting others out, closing off to protect themselves. But true boundaries are far subtler than that. They are the silent yet powerful choices we make about where we are willing to be vulnerable and where we demand respect. The strength of a boundary is not in its inflexibility, but in its ability to bend without breaking. It is the skill of knowing when to let someone in and when to guard your peace. It's the wisdom of saying, I am here, but I do not give all of myself to you. I retain the sovereignty of my own spirit. In this world, we are constantly engaged in a delicate dance with others. Some will push, some will pull, and many will try to cross the line you have set. But when you understand the nature of boundaries, you realize that they are not barriers to connection. They are the guardians of your well-being. They allow you to embrace the world fully, without being consumed by it, to open your heart to those who deserve your trust, while protecting yourself from those who seek to drain you. It's in this dance that you discover your true strength, the ability to stand firm in your own space, to let people into your life without losing yourself, and to say no without guilt. The art of boundaries is not about cutting others off, but about choosing to engage on your own terms with wisdom, clarity, and a deep understanding of your own worth. And remember, this is not a rigid, inflexible law. It is a principle, a guiding, a force that can adapt and shift as you grow. Just as the great philosophers understood, it's the balance between openness and self-preservation that defines the quality of our relationships. And in this balance, you will find your true power. Toxic people are the architects of chaos. They thrive on drama, feeding off the conflict and emotional storms they create. Every word they speak, every action they take is designed to provoke, to drag you into their whirlwind, to make you dance to their unpredictable rhythms. They aren't interested in resolution or understanding. Their only goal is to escalate the tension, to make the world around them as unsettled as their inner state. But here lies the paradox of true strength. You have the power to refuse to play. You don't need to rise to their bait. The game they play is a dangerous one, where the rules are set to drain your energy, make you doubt yourself, and pull you into endless cycles of emotional turmoil. To step outside of it requires a deep, silent strength, the power to walk away from the chaos without flinching, without the need to prove anything, without the need to defend yourself. It's easy to become entangled in the drama of others, to respond with your own sharp words or actions, to fall into the trap of escalating conflict. But true mastery lies in your ability to simply not engage, to let them shout into the void while you remain anchored in your own peace. Think of it as an act of defiance, but not in the way you might imagine. This is not about fighting back, it's about not participating. It's about saying, I refuse to be your puppet, your emotional outlet. I will not give you the power to shape my response. The greatest minds understood this. Marcus Aurelius, in his Stoic wisdom, reminded us that the opinions and provocations of others are not within our control. You have the freedom to choose your reaction, to stand outside the emotional battlefield. And Nietzsche, in his radical defiance of conformity, would tell you this: don't waste your energy on the trivial and the destructive. If you respond to their provocation, you are only adding fuel to the fire of their dissatisfaction. By not responding, you maintain your integrity. You preserve your energy, your clarity, and your peace. You become the observer of the chaos, not its participant. And in this, you hold the highest power, the power of choice. You are not at the mercy of their manipulation. Instead, you have chosen to rise above it, untouched by the turmoil they seek to create. In the end, not playing their game is the most powerful move you can make. And when you master this, you will find that the drama they bring becomes a distant echo, barely reaching you at all. You are not a therapist. The moment you step into the role of trying to change someone else, you abandon your own peace and invite a lifetime of frustration. Toxic people are not projects to be fixed. They are individuals with their own struggles, their own distorted perceptions, and their own journey, one that you are not meant to walk for them. It's tempting, isn't it? To think that with the right words, the right approach, you could shift their behavior, open their eyes, help them see the light. But in reality, you are not their savior. To believe that you can alter their fundamental nature is to dishonor both yourself and them. It's a waste of your precious energy to try to fix what isn't yours to change. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So why allow another's behavior to tarnish your inner peace? To bend and twist yourself in an attempt to change someone else is to sacrifice your own authenticity. Nietzsche would argue that the greatest strength lies in the ability to remain true to your own nature, to not let the world shape you into something you are not. The more you focus on changing others, the further you stray from your own path, losing sight of who you are. Your task is not to take on the weight of their emotional baggage. Your task is to remain anchored in your own truth. Your behavior, your thoughts, your actions, they are yours to control. If someone around you refuses to grow, let them be. It is not your responsibility to carry them across a bridge they are not ready to cross. The real strength comes not in changing them, but in choosing not to be affected by them. Stand firm in who you are, regardless of how they choose to act. Let their chaos roll off you like water off a stone. The moment you stop trying to bend others to your will, you reclaim your own power, your own peace. You learn to be yourself, unaffected by the distortions around you. And when you do this, you will find the beauty of living authentically, no longer swayed by the storms others try to create in your life. You will realize that you are enough, just as you are, and that the only change that truly matters is the one that comes from within you. Sometimes, the most powerful way to deal with toxicity is not through confrontation or attempting to fix the situation. It's in the art of distance. The idea of minimizing contact may seem counterintuitive, especially when the urge to engage or resolve conflict surges within you. But there is a profound wisdom in knowing when to step back, in recognizing that some battles are not meant to be fought and some relationships are not meant to be salvaged. You are not a hero tasked with saving others from their own suffering. Toxic people are often trapped in cycles of negativity, projecting their inner turmoil onto the world around them. Engaging with them in an attempt to resolve their chaos can only pull you deeper into their storm. It is a truth that few are willing to face. Not all situations can be fixed, and not all people will change, no matter how hard you try. Marcus Aurelius understood this well. The mind can only remain free and serene when it is not dragged into the chaos of others. His Stoic wisdom teaches us that our peace is worth more than any attempt to control another's turmoil. By maintaining a healthy distance, you are not abandoning them. You are protecting yourself. Nietzsche would say that the highest act of self-affirmation is to preserve your own integrity in the face of external chaos. Your energy, your well-being, your peace, these are the most sacred things you have. To waste them on someone who is unwilling or unable to change is to betray your own essence. Distance, however, is not cruelty. It is a profound act of wisdom. You do not need to justify your choice to create boundaries, for it is your birthright to protect yourself. When you minimize contact, you do not leave them in the darkness. You simply stop allowing their darkness to define your life. By withdrawing, you give both yourself and them the space needed to evolve, to reflect, and to choose a path of growth, whether together or apart. In this detachment, you regain control over your emotions, your thoughts, and your actions. You step back, not out of weakness, but out of strength. And in that strength, you not only preserve your energy, but give yourself the room to grow, to cultivate your own peace, and to surround yourself with people who nurture rather than drain. So remember, sometimes the best way to resolve the chaos is not through engagement, but through conscious retreat. In every relationship, there exists a sacred responsibility to place yourself first. It is not a selfish act, as the world would often suggest, but rather an essential step in preserving your own peace and well-being. You cannot give what you do not possess, and if you neglect your own needs, you risk losing the very essence that makes you who you are. The tendency to prioritize others, especially in relationships that drain you, is not only dangerous, it is a betrayal of your own spirit. You may feel compelled to adjust your needs, desires, and even beliefs to accommodate the demands of others. But in doing so, you sacrifice the most precious resource you have, your sense of self. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, take care to be what you are. That means honoring your thoughts, your needs, and your boundaries without apology. Nietzsche would argue that true strength lies in self-affirmation, the courage to honor who you are, to stand unwavering in the face of external pressures. When you allow others to dominate your existence, you abandon your sovereignty. You begin to mold yourself into something you were never meant to be, surrendering your identity in the process. True freedom, true power, comes when you are unapologetically yourself, when you guard your energy as fiercely as a warrior guards their sword. It is not about closing yourself off to the world. Rather, it is about recognizing that your needs are just as important as those of others. The strength to say no when it is necessary is a mark of wisdom. And the wisdom to step back from relationships that drain you is a sign of profound self-respect. Protect your energy fiercely, for it is the source from which everything else flows. When you neglect your needs for the sake of others, you are like a river that runs dry. It no longer has the capacity to nourish, to give, or to sustain. In the end, the relationships that thrive are those where both parties honor and respect their individual needs, where both people are allowed to exist fully as they are. So remember this: when you place yourself first, not in arrogance, but in quiet wisdom, you not only preserve your own peace, you become the most powerful version of yourself. And that version, grounded in self-respect, is what the world needs most. There's a profound truth that we often overlook. The pain, frustration, and bitterness of others are not yours to carry. Too often, toxic individuals seek to transfer their inner turmoil onto you, wrapping their emotions around your soul like a heavy cloak, forcing you to carry the weight of their unhappiness. But here's the secret they don't tell you: it's not your burden, and it never was. Think of it this way. Imagine that each person at birth is given a set of emotional baggage. This baggage is theirs to hold, theirs to deal with. The moment they choose to unload it onto you, it is not a reflection of your worth, nor is it an invitation to carry it. It is simply an external manifestation of their inner struggles. Marcus Aurelius, in his Stoic wisdom, urged us to remind ourselves constantly, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Their pain, their frustration, it's an external event, something you cannot control, nor should you try to. To embrace the pain of others as your own is to deny your autonomy. Nietzsche would call this the denial of the will to power, the denial of your personal strength to overcome and assert your own being in the face of the world. You are not here to fix others, to be a sponge for their negativity, or to absorb their weaknesses. To do so is to hand over your power, to place yourself in a prison of someone else's making. Recognizing this truth requires strength, the kind of strength that comes from knowing who you are, and more importantly, who you are not. You are not the receptacle for other people's pain. Their frustrations, insecurities, and unresolved issues are theirs to confront. And if they try to burden you with them, simply remind yourself, this is not my battle. Let their emotions be just that, their emotions, not yours. Don't let them define your state of being. Detach yourself from their projections, from their unresolved conflicts. When you do, you reclaim the space within yourself that belongs to your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own energy. It is through this detachment that you can maintain your serenity, not because you are indifferent, but because you understand that your peace is sacred. So, as you encounter the toxic influences in your life, remember this: their anger, their bitterness, their pain. It's just a reflection of their own journey, not a mirror to your soul. Let go of what is not yours to hold, and in that release, you will find freedom. It's only then that you can stand tall, unshaken, amidst the storms they try to impose upon you. Energy is the most valuable currency you possess, and the sad truth is, there are individuals who will never contribute to your well-being. They exist solely to drain what little you have left, without ever offering anything in return. They feed on your emotional vitality, and each conversation with them feels like a silent robbery. Yet most of us fail to see it until we are already exhausted, overwhelmed by their ceaseless neediness. To understand this, you must first grasp the concept that you, as an individual, are not an inexhaustible reservoir. Your energy is finite, and each interaction either nurtures or diminishes it. When you engage with someone who continuously takes but never gives, you are willingly depleting yourself. It's like trying to fill a cup with a hole in the bottom. No matter how much you pour, it's never enough. Take a moment to reflect. Consider the energy you expend on people who demand your attention, but never reciprocate. Every conversation with them is an emotional tug-of-war, pulling you in different directions, leaving you frazzled, confused, and drained. The true tragedy is that you are not just wasting your time, you are sacrificing your own inner equilibrium, your mental clarity, and your emotional well-being. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. And what is energy, if not an expression of your internal state? So what does it mean to not give them your energy? It means recognizing that your emotional landscape is not a battleground. When you refuse to engage in the emotional black hole that these people create, you stop reinforcing their need to consume your energy. You create a boundary not out of malice, but out of wisdom. Like Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch, you elevate yourself beyond the need to justify your decisions to anyone. You do not need to feed the destructive forces around you. Instead, you draw your energy inward, preserving it for what is truly worthy. Stop pouring yourself into conversations that leave you empty. Stop investing time and emotional labor into relationships that drain you. Every minute you spend in these exchanges is a minute you will never get back. It is time you could have spent nurturing your own soul, learning, growing, evolving. To let go of this energy-sucking cycle is to reclaim your autonomy and your power. There is liberation in silence, in walking away, in choosing to preserve your vitality. You don't owe them your emotional investment. You don't need to validate their emotional instability by engaging in the toxic dance they offer. By not giving them your energy, you're not abandoning them. You're respecting yourself. It's a shift in mindset. No longer will you allow someone else's emotional chaos to dominate your inner peace. When you stop feeding the beast, you reclaim your strength, your peace, and your clarity. And in doing so, you step into a more powerful version of yourself, someone who knows the value of their own energy and is no longer willing to squander it on the empty promises of others. There is a quiet power in emotional restraint, a strength that lies in how you respond, or more accurately, in how you choose not to respond. Toxins are everywhere in the form of people who seem to thrive on triggering you, attempting to pierce your calm with carefully chosen words, provocations, and acts meant to incite a reaction. They know how to push your buttons, how to dig under your skin, how to make you question your own sanity. Yet in those moments of tension, you have a choice. You have the choice to remain calm, to step back and observe the chaos from a distance rather than being drawn into the vortex. This is no simple task. It requires discipline, wisdom, and the cultivation of an inner fortress. Marcus Aurelius spoke of the power of the mind, stating, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." In those moments when a toxic individual seeks to provoke you, it is not the external situation that determines your emotional state, but the quality of your thoughts. You must master this inner realm before you can hope to maintain peace in the face of external storms. They may throw emotional darts at you, but they can only pierce the heart if you allow them to. In the same vein, Nietzsche warned us of the dangers of losing oneself in reactive emotional responses, saying, "He who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster." Reacting with the same chaos, the same emotional imbalance, is not a victory. It is self-betrayal. Each time you respond with anger, frustration, or defensiveness, you are sinking into the very behavior they have provoked in you. Your emotions, like the strings of a finely tuned instrument, are yours to control. Don't let anyone else play Them. This isn't about denying your feelings or pretending they don't exist. It's about choosing your reactions deliberately. You are not a puppet on strings, waiting for the next jolt of provocation. You are the one who holds the strings. Your emotions, when harnessed and understood, are a potent force of clarity and wisdom. It is through emotional mastery that you truly control your fate, not through the whims of external triggers. There's an old saying that the one who angers you controls you. In the realm of toxic individuals, this couldn't be more true. If you allow them to dictate your emotions, you give them the power to destabilize your life. But if you stand firm, rooted in your own sense of inner peace, they have nothing but empty words to throw at you. They will continue to hurl their provocations, but they will never reach the heart of you. You will remain unmoved, like a mountain, in the midst of a storm. So let them play their games, let them act out their drama. You know better than to get caught in their web. When you respond with calm and detachment, you hold the highest form of power, the power of choice. The more you cultivate your inner peace, the more they will reveal their true nature to themselves, while you remain unshaken. In this calmness, you become an unstoppable force. Your emotions are no longer a battlefield, they are the terrain of your greatest strength. There comes a point in every challenging interaction when holding on only causes more harm. Like trying to hold water in cupped hands, the tighter you grip, the more slips away. Yet it's often the fear of letting go that keeps you bound to the toxic exchange, as if somehow your continued effort will change the course of things. But here's the truth. Not all things are meant to be salvaged, and not all people are meant to stay in your life. In fact, sometimes the most powerful choice you can make is to simply release. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that the universe operates on a natural rhythm, and that resistance to this flow causes nothing but unnecessary suffering. Waste. No more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one, he wrote. In those moments where you feel the tug of obligation or guilt, remind yourself that your peace is worth more than the futile struggle to mend what was never meant to be. Letting go is not a defeat. It is a form of profound wisdom. It is the ultimate act of self-preservation. By letting go, you make space for growth, for healthier connections, and for the energy needed to create new beginnings. Nietzsche understood well the weight of clinging to the wrong things. Become who you are, he urged, a call to leave behind anything that hinders your transformation. You cannot grow when you remain bound to the past, to relationships that drain you, or to interactions that only pull you further into chaos. You see, the moment you release the grip on someone who brings nothing but toxicity into your life, you reclaim your freedom and your power. You stop allowing someone else to dictate the shape of your life and the rhythm of your soul. There's a subtle grace in release. It requires a certain inner strength to accept that not all battles are worth fighting. You don't need to prove your loyalty by continuing to endure harm. You don't need to redeem someone else at the cost of your own peace. The act of letting go does not mean abandoning the person. It simply means that you are no longer willing to sacrifice your well-being for an outcome that is out of your control. By letting go, you create space for healing, for new opportunities, for relationships that nourish rather than drain. So when you find yourself tangled in a toxic interaction, recognize the moment for what it is. Recognize that releasing is not an act of giving up, but an act of reclaiming your power, of standing in the fullness of who you are, unburdened by the expectations or behaviors of others. You cannot continue to pour from an empty cup, and sometimes the kindest thing you can do, not only for yourself but for them, is to let go. For when you let go, you allow both yourself and the other person the possibility of true growth. You cease to be a participant in a futile cycle, and instead you step into the realm of freedom and possibility. Patience, they say, is a virtue, but it is also a silent power that most fail to recognize. In the face of toxic people, When the storm of their words and actions rages, the instinct is to either retreat in frustration or fight back with equal intensity. But those who seek true mastery over their inner peace know that sometimes the greatest strength is found not in confrontation, but in quiet endurance. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often spoke of the value of accepting the world as it is, imperfect, chaotic, and unpredictable. He knew that it is not always in our control to change external circumstances, but that we can choose our response. When the storm of negativity surges around you, it may seem impossible to stay centered. It may feel as if the very air is thick with tension, each word spoken like a knife cutting into your soul. But this too is part of life's natural flow. To survive the chaos, to maintain your peace amidst the storm, requires patience, not just with others, but with yourself. Nietzsche warned of the dangers of reacting in haste, urging us to embrace the moments when we feel tension or conflict, as they are opportunities for growth. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how, he said, reminding us that patience in these moments is not passivity, but an active choice to stay rooted in purpose and strength. The toxic words and behaviors of others are like waves crashing against the shore, relentless and loud, but they are not you. They cannot erode your foundation unless you allow them to. By choosing to endure with patience, you turn the tide in your favor. There's a certain wisdom that emerges in silence, the ability to wait, to endure, without letting the storm draw you into its turbulence. In these moments, patience becomes your shield, your anchor. You don't need to react or fight every battle. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is let the storm pass by without allowing it to change you. Remember, the clouds will eventually disperse, and you will stand tall, unshaken. Patience does not mean inaction, it means emotional control. It is the strength to wait, knowing that in time the truth will come to light, the toxic person will reveal themselves, and the storm will fade. By resisting the urge to react immediately, you create space between their chaos and your response, allowing you to maintain clarity, composure, and most importantly, your sense of self. So when you find yourself facing the toxic, the manipulative, and the disruptive, hold firm. Allow them their moment, but do not be swept into their tempest. Stand as the calm in the eye of the storm. Know that by enduring, by waiting, you will emerge stronger, wiser, and ultimately more in control of your own peace. The process may be slow, but in this patience, you unlock your greatest strength, the ability to remain undisturbed in the face of turmoil. There is a subtle truth, one that you must come to understand if you are to navigate life with purpose. You are the architect of your own path. The journey you are on, the goals you strive for, the essence of who you wish to become, these are yours and yours alone. And yet, in the course of your journey, you will encounter obstacles, distractions, and people who seek to pull you off course. Toxic individuals are among the most insidious of these distractions. They exist not to help you move forward, but to siphon your energy, to test your resolve, and to derail your purpose. In moments like these, remember what Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations: the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. The toxic energy that surrounds you, be it from people, situations, or fleeting emotions, will only take root in you if you let it. You have the power at every moment to return to your center. Like a skilled sailor steering his ship, you must know where your compass points. The storm may rage, the winds may howl, but your direction must remain true. Nietzsche, in his exploration of the Übermensch, the superior individual, argues that greatness is not a gift, but a product of relentless self-mastery. To be distracted by the noise of others, to allow the forces of chaos to sway you from your course, is to lose your very essence. And so, your task is to constantly return to your goals, to reaffirm them with each breath. In the face of external forces, you must find a way to hold your ground, knowing that your purpose is your own, and no one can take it from you unless you surrender it. The toxic person, the naysayer, the manipulator, they are but fleeting distractions. They are not the roadblocks you face in your journey. They are the tests. And tests are meant to be passed, not dwelled upon. You must remain focused, rooted in your purpose, and keep your gaze fixed on the horizon. Your goals are the markers of your inner strength, the reflection of your desires, and they are far more powerful than any negativity thrown your way. It is in moments of temptation, when the toxic person seeks to disturb your peace, that your true strength lies. The ability to return to your center, to regain your focus, and to remind yourself that you control your path, that is the hallmark of the wise. You are not a victim of circumstances or of others' behavior. You are the master of your own fate. So, let every distraction be a reminder of who you are becoming. Let the toxic individuals be the obstacles that test your resolve. But never lose sight of your goals. Never let their chaos dictate your course. Your journey is yours alone, and in holding steadfast to your purpose, you will move forward, undeterred, no matter what comes your way. As we close, remember this: life will always present challenges, distractions, and toxic forces. But your strength lies in your ability to remain focused, to protect your energy, and to stay true to your purpose. You control your path. You define your worth. Keep moving forward with unwavering clarity. Take charge, stay strong, and never forget: your journey is yours to master.